what are you going to do? You're going to make them give up their money? Is it you going to make them fork over half their cash because they were more successful than everybody else?
Yeah, I mean, success is a sort of a relative term. If I could argue against pure unadulterated capitalism, there's the infrastructure on some level that is dependent upon the creation of the entire society, be it the highways, the phone lines, the code of laws, the way we treat ourselves.
Sure.
They're beneficial of that thing which is society. Therefore,
right,
they owe it to us to use our system in order to succeed to a certain degree.
Sure, it's a certain amount of resources, but do you think that the wealthy man deserves to pay much more resources than the poor man? Or should it be a percentage of what they earn?
A percentage of what they earn.
It should be a flat percentage of what they earn across the board.
But I think where they really should get dinged is at death. I don't believe in inheritance.
That's fascinating. But what if you want your kids to have it? It's your wish. You're going to go steal that guy's money?
No, well,
you know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
If you had a son, and your son was an awesome guy, and he loved to surf, and and you didn't want him to have to get a job, you're like, look, bro, I'm going to give you, my $1 million, and then you live a frugal life, and you'll never have to work again, and then you could just surf.
A little bit's fine, but I don't believe
Why not fucking all my money? I want to give it to my kid. It's $1 million.
No way. That just produces a fucking a monarchy or a royal class of douchebag.
Why is that so? No, why is that true? No, if you have money that you want to give to a kid, you love your kid and you want to leave him your money, you're saying he shouldn't be able to get your money? That's ridiculous.
Not all of it. No, I don't believe
that's absolutely ridiculous. So you think the government should come in and regulate where your money goes?
Well, I'd like to encourage them to give it away before they die.
You know where it's going to go? It's going to go to government agencies. That's where it's going to go. It's going to get chopped up.
Like the Carnegie Foundation, or
it's going to get taxed and chopped up.
Or perhaps some of the great foundations that have changed the face of the world in philanthropy. That would be a different way to go, like the Rockefeller Society. These groups have done and created great systems of art that wouldn't have created without their money. But no, or you could hold on to it with both your little hands, and then the government pries it out and builds a highway.
Yeah, but why would anyone have the right to say what you can and cannot leave for your children?
Well, it's money. It's you're
you made that money. It's your money.
You didn't make it. Money itself is kind of an illusion of debt against the whole.
Okay, but you were far more successful than most, and you accumulated a mass amount of whatever the fuck you want to call money, and it's your thing.
I'm not saying
it's a remnant of your work, and if you decide that you want to give it to your kid, maybe your kid has an idea, maybe your kid wants to invest an incredible amount in clean energy and fucking dedicated himself to that. But whatever the fuck he wants to do, if it's your kid, no, why should you have to? Why would you have more government invasion in your life? Who's going to run these foundations?
I disagree.
Fucking weirdos, man.
Yeah, probably. I don't like most of the people in government. I don't think government's the answer to a lot of things, but I don't think that we should be creating hierarchical sort of niches in society reflective of the feudalist domination that we used to have when we were serfs. And that's what this concentration of wealth that's not divided after death is creating.
But that's ridiculous, because what if this guy built it up from scratch all on his own and he wants to give it to his children because they aided him in getting to that position by giving him a stable family and giving him love and support that enabled him to be super successful.
If their kids aided them in the creation of it, then the kids earned money on the process, and they should have lots of money from their own endeavors on the same path, like the Walmart family.
Wow, dude, that's some crazy socialism.
I don't know if it's socialism.
It's absolutely socialism. Yeah. Sure, it's
by
your
definition.
You leave your kid enough money to survive.
You're not on the microphone. Hold on a second.
No.
Don't you people know how to just plug into the wall like R2-D2 and check your voice? What are you saying?
I was just saying you would obviously you would leave your kid enough to be able to survive and have a great life.
Yeah.
The only money that would go to the government or to the country would be excess wealth. Yeah. Not
well, by whose judgment is excess wealth? Excess wealth to Sylvester Stallone is different than excess wealth to Brian.
But it would be in the amount that it is.
Just a comfortable life. Yeah, I think that there should be a recreation of how we strive after things. I don't think money is the best answer to things, and I think that we came up with capitalism. I don't think socialism is the answer, or communism, but I think that we should evolve past currency at some point. We should be trying to do something else. I mean, what if you could only make a certain amount of money and then you got like titles or more rights and certain things like that? I think that would be more appealing on some levels. Creating the gentleman class, creating exclusionary areas that people that strive to sort of be more can
People would call that social engineering.
Yes, exactly. Is that good? That's good,
I don't know. It depends on who's engineering, really. I mean, if the divine enlightened person, not one, how about all of them throughout history? Well, everyone who gets to a position of power, absolute power without a doubt corrupts absolutely. It's an age-old quote for a reason,
Yeah, and the system will fall down and be recreated.
Men have dicks. Dicks work.
For you when you come from Canada because it works there.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? It completely works. Nobody strives to be super rich because your quality of life won't be that much different than being
I think people strive. Everybody in every group, there's going to be people striving to be great.
You don't think your quality of life is better if you're rich than if you're not?
No, in Canada, it's better, but it's not like
what she's saying is the difference between poor and rich is much greater here than.
Okay.
Like if you're the richest guy in a city, like the city I come from, it's 90,000 people. So if you're the richest guy in that city and you're like middle class or lower class in that city, you have a general quality of life in that city about equal, if not maybe a little worse, because maybe they have something cool in their house.
I would not trust social engineering to many people. You know, I don't think many people would have the right intentions, and once they get into a position of power, it's up to them to decide where money goes and which agencies get allocated. I mean, I don't trust them. I don't. Not by a long shot.
I'm with you with not trusting.
But I see what you're saying on paper. I see what you're saying on paper.
But I'm saying that there's no reason why we shouldn't be striving to be better than what we are now, where we wouldn't trust people like this.
Yeah, but I don't think the real way is to encourage philanthropy and love, and to encourage it though, but not to mandate it, not to get in and decide by some group of people just gank someone's resources because they left this dimension.
But there's so many people that exist right now that I think that are, and maybe this is probably naive because I'm sure they've existed all throughout time, but they're just more in the eye of the media or people or whatever. Is that I've never seen a level of greed that I've seen now in this generation. Like,
I think it's natural. I think
greed is natural, of course, because it's from when we were pack animals and we were surviving and fighting for every little thing we get our paws on to mate and survive and eat. But at some point, I mean, now that we're all kind of fat, maybe we should start working on not being so greedy. And that level of greed shouldn't be sort of rewarded by this. I don't know. I don't think greed should be rewarded on the level. Compassion should be. Education should be. All these other.
This society is propelled forward by technology and innovation and success.
The motivation for each individual person has moved to money, whereas it used to be status in society.
Not for all of them.
Okay, let's just take an example of the 1800s. In New York, let's say you made your money through spurious means. Let's say you were a loan shark, if you will, and you're very wealthy in society. You still couldn't get a reservation at most fine places because you weren't a gentleman. You weren't considered of the class or the ilk that they would like to serve. And that sounds awful in modern day terms because we're this egalitarian equal society.
Well, it's a caste system. It defines people.
But to a certain degree, there's something wonderful about ascertaining to a status in society as well as a wealth in society. Like respect.
Respect by how, though? Isn't the respect that's family respect?
Family?
It's just, isn't like with caste systems, isn't it where you come from?
No.
Kind of a...
This would be an earned gentleman class.
So you would create a new caste system, that's what you're saying?
Yeah, you'd follow a code of being fair and just and compassionate.
Yeah, it's always good to do that, It's always good to be fair and just and nice to people. I think that's what we have to encourage. Instead of deciding where people's money goes and doesn't go, that's too much government, man. There's too many people fucking with money, too many people become greedy, too many people engage in corruption. Politicians have shown themselves over and over and over again to be embedded with corruption to the point where it's legal. Corruption is like campaign funding, right?
Campaign funding and lobbying. You'll never solve a problem in this country until campaign funding is gone.
I 100% agree with you.
Like not a single thing can be tackled.
And that people have to abandon the idea of a two-party system too. We have to abandon the idea that these two people are the only ideas out there and that they're diametrically opposed from each other and they're battling constantly. They're ridiculous. Most of us are hybrids. Most of us are a conglomeration of conservative and liberal thinking, and they pit ideas against each other's ideas to keep this battle back and forth because it goes with our monkey tribal instincts to be on a fucking team. That's a problem. So our whole political system is a problem. I agree. Our whole financial system is a problem. But as long as everyone is playing the capitalist game, which is what they are, everybody that works is playing this capitalist game. Just because someone's a bad motherfucker at it doesn't mean you get to take his ball when he dies. He gets to do whatever the fuck he wants with that. If we're all going to play this game, I see what you're saying, though, that we shouldn't play all this game, and that if the society was utopian, and if we really came to some point of enlightenment where we really treated each other like brothers and sisters and all kind of worked together, and instead of money, figured out some strange sort of a barter system or get what you need because I know you have good character and you contribute because you're conscientious, have that like a universal across the board thing. But that's not human beings. That's the problem. You're talking talking about an enlightened being.
But that's not what we are now. We should be trying to evolve.
We should be.
I mean,
but
that's kind of the goal. Maintaining the status quo doesn't help us as a creature. We should always be striving to become this better thing.
Well, we are. Yeah. You are. We are.
I don't know,
okay.
I slept until 2 today.
Well, it doesn't matter. You're not hurting anybody. You're doing comedy. You're spreading fun everywhere you go. I mean, it's not. I mean, we're defining the whole group together.
Right.
And I think there's a lot of enlightened people, and there's a lot of people that are thinking about things a lot differently than they were 10 years ago or 20 years ago. It's changing. Because of the internet is a big part of it.
Because we're all talking to each other, and also because the internet's allowing some extreme points of view to come and talk to each other where they're forced to be isolatory before. Especially, I think, when it comes to, I mean, everybody's arguing that it's allowing the fringe groups to become more radical, and it does to a certain degree, but at the same point, you can reach out in an instant and communicate with somebody from a differing point of view now.
Yeah.
Whereas you never used to do that. If you grew up in a really tiny white town in Idaho or whatever, like that, you might not ever meet another race or whatever. And so I think that as much as people are complaining, this is bringing us way more together than we've